Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Daily Podcast. I'm Liv Morgan, your host, and today we have a delightful tale that's full of adventure, love, and a few life lessons. It's called The Shepherdess and the Chimney Sweep. This is a story about bravery, loyalty, and the lengths we go to for the ones we love. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into this enchanting story.
Once upon a time, there was a beautiful porcelain shepherdess and a small porcelain chimney sweep. They lived side by side on a wooden shelf in a room filled with fancy decorations. The shepherdess was delicate and charming, with a soft smile on her face and a lovely dress. The chimney sweep, in his simple work clothes, had a kind and brave heart, and he deeply admired the shepherdess. They were both part of a porcelain family, but they had something special. They were in love. However, their peaceful life on the shelf was threatened by a larger porcelain figure, an old and intimidating figure of a general. This figure was positioned in the room like a ruler, with a stern expression and an air of authority. The general was determined to marry the shepherdess, and he believed he had the right to do so because of his high rank. But the shepherdess had no feelings for him and feared him greatly. One night, the chimney sweep whispered to the shepherdess, "We don't have to stay here. We can escape together and find freedom." The shepherdess hesitated, fearing the unknown world outside their shelf. But she trusted the chimney sweep and, with a heart full of courage, agreed to go with him. The two porcelain figures climbed down the shelf and ventured into the room. They traveled across the furniture, carefully making their way through obstacles. When they reached the floor, they felt like they had stepped into a new world. They had to be careful as they were small and fragile, and even the smallest fall could break them. The pair eventually found a small crack in the wall. They decided to go through it, hoping it would lead them to safety and freedom. Beyond the wall, they discovered a dark and narrow passage that led outside. They could feel the cool night air and the sounds of the world beyond the house. They had never experienced anything like this before. But just then, the shepherdess felt a deep fear. She realized how different and uncertain the world was outside the familiar room. She looked back at the warm glow of the room they'd left and started to doubt their decision. "I'm scared," she told the chimney sweep. "What if we don't belong out here?" The chimney sweep comforted her, saying, "No matter where we are, as long as we're together, we'll be fine." But seeing her fear, he knew it was her happiness that mattered the most. He was willing to give up his dreams of freedom to bring her comfort. And so, they returned to their shelf. Back in the room, they resumed their places on the shelf, side by side as before. Though they hadn't found the freedom they had dreamed of, they knew they'd always have each other. The shepherdess felt safe again, and the chimney sweep felt fulfilled, knowing he had protected her happiness. They continued to sit on the shelf together, and while they didn't escape the shelf, they held onto their love and memories of their adventure. They were content, side by side, in their own little world.
Explanation of important phrases and expressions.
Heart full of courage. This phrase describes someone who feels brave and determined. In the story, The shepherdess had a heart full of courage when she decided to leave with the chimney sweep. You can use this phrase when someone is facing a difficult situation but is choosing to be brave. Ventured into. To venture into something means to go somewhere new or challenging, often with some risk involved. Here, the shepherdess and the chimney sweep ventured into the unknown outside world, facing the challenges together. You might say, he ventured into a new career path if someone tries something they've never done before. Beyond the wall. This phrase can be both literal, as in the story, where they physically go beyond the wall, and metaphorical. It often suggests leaving behind something safe and familiar for the unknown. For instance, going beyond the wall can mean stepping out of your comfort zone. Side by side. This phrase means being together or supporting each other. The shepherdess and the chimney sweep were side by side in their journey and on the shelf. It can also be used in sentences like, the friends worked side by side to complete the project. Content. Being content means feeling satisfied or happy with what you have, even if it's not everything you wished for. The characters in the story found contentment on the shelf, together. This can be a helpful word when talking about finding peace in the present moment.
Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of the English Daily Podcast. I hope you enjoyed our story, The Shepherdess and the Chimney Sweep, and learned a few new expressions along the way. Remember, these stories are a wonderful way to expand your vocabulary and gain confidence in using English. If you liked this episode, please subscribe and don't forget to share it with friends who might also enjoy learning through storytelling. Until next time, keep practicing, stay curious, and remember English is a journey, and we're on this journey together. Take care and see you soon.